Joel, welcome to Removers and Shakers.
Thanks very much for having me.
How's things been?
All right, yeah, very good, thanks.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Haven't seen you in about a year or so. We caught up for dinner.
Yeah, you took us out for dinner, which was very nice. It's normally the way around that we would be taking you out for dinner, but it's very nice of you to do that. It's always appreciated.
No worries. So you're from Granite BPO, umbrella company. Yeah. Tell us, for those people that don't know what an umbrella company is, and we've used Granite yourselves since 2019. It's how we payroll all our workers to ensure that they're compliant with tax and just there's a whole host of conveniences by using. But you, maybe in your own words and simple language, explain what's umbrella company do?
So, I mean, it's changed a lot over the years, but the way I always kind of sell it now is that it's a service to recruitment agencies, and kind of think of it as like an outsourced payroll. So if we're taking on a new worker, I'll say to them, look, instead of Dingo having a big payroll team of, sort of 4 or 5 people running payroll, they just pay everything to us and then we payroll you. So the difference with an umbrella company and a normal payroll is that we're the employer.
Okay.
So we take on all the responsibilities of employment. We do all the HR, we do sick pay, maternity pay, we do P45s, we run a pension scheme, deduct student loans. So we are their employer of record. And so you guys, as the recruitment agency or business, don't actually then even really need a PAYE reference number.
Yeah.
You don't need to run a PAYE scheme. And I think that what we do, I mean, it depends on the size of the agency, but, if you're a smaller agency, maybe you've got, 10, 15 members of staff, having 2 or 3 payroll people and, 30, 40 grand a year, when you don't need that is quite a nice way of working. And as you know, we don't actually charge you guys. We take a margin from the workers, and it's kind of built into the rate. So they're kind of paying for the service essentially. But it's all, you kind of uplift the pay rate. So there's quite a bit that goes on in the background. But I mean, if you're a worker, your journey essentially is that we'll get in touch with you. We'll say, hi, we do the payroll for Dingo. Give us a call if you have any questions. We send them an employment contract. We tell them, how they need to submit their timesheets. And then the most sort of important part of that is we'll then say to them, if you've got any queries that you pay, don't call Dingo, give us a call. If your tax looks weird, if you worked 40 hours, but actually my payslip says 39 hours, then call us, we'll deal with all the queries on the behalf. And then even then, we can then go to the right person in your company. And instead of you getting bombarded with phone calls, we can send you an email that says, look, we've had this query, can you take a look at it? Or this guy thought he was going to get paid. And it means that you guys are just totally focused on placements, totally focused on your clients. And then we deal with the employees and we deal with the workers and we make sure that they're happy on that side.
It's been incredible. Just even that last point you're talking about, like the constant questions we could have, and it's nice to be able to say when they do call us about a question about tax or tax code or why is this, we can say, just give Granite a call.
We've really stuck with the idea that, we think we should all be contactable by phone. So everybody gets our mobile phone numbers, work mobile phone numbers, not my personal phone, obviously. But everyone gets our phone numbers, a mobile phone number. They can text us, they can call us. And we really try and have that kind of personal service still. We're not a massive business. We work with similar sized businesses where it's owner to owner, which is always nice. If you call us up, you're not getting a salesperson. You'll get me or one of the other owners who you can kind of deal with. So we kind of find that's nice. We know we're not going to go and deal with a Hayes or a Reed or an Etoe. Those guys have got their own umbrella companies. We're there for kind of the more boutique agencies, the smaller guys who really need that kind of one-to-one support. And then we work hand in hand with you guys.
And what about non-agencies, like companies like we obviously this is for removal firms and people associated with the removers and storers, removers and self-storage industry. Could a removal company use you?
Yeah, definitely. We'll get onto IR35, I think, in a bit. But when IR35 sort of came in, lots of small agencies and small companies, actually a lot in the creative industry, so we've got a lot of kind of advertising and TV people, suddenly went, we got to payroll these guys. They can't be self-employed anymore. So we are almost essentially the in-house payroll team for a couple of advertising agencies, like TV production houses, sort of a couple of businesses like that, as well as, other kind of just sort of smaller businesses. So there is an outsourced payroll element. It's really about when, if you don't particularly want to employ the worker, if it's a permanent employee, it doesn't really work. They've kind of got to be a freelancer because that way, they're not getting all of the employment benefits you get anyway. But if they're a freelancer, they come through us and then we just deal with all of your workforce. It doesn't have to be a recruitment agency as such. Anywhere you've got a flexible workforce who are being paid by the hour or by the day.
There's a lot of casuals in removals. Companies have a lot of casuals.
Yeah, definitely.
I think, I don't know, I think this could be an okay option. I don't know, it might be. I mean, a lot of companies I speak to don't even heard of a umbrella company.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that, without going all sales pitchy, I think if you have a removal company and you have maybe 20, 30 guys as a pool, and each sort of week you're going, right, who do we need to pay? What tax have we got to deduct? Oh, Sue's on holiday, we have to get, try and cover that. What we do is you can send us all of the data. We'll create you an invoice. So you pay that single one invoice to us. So let's say you pay us, £20,000 for everybody's wages. We'll then run the payroll for those guys, put the money into their individual account, send them the pay slips, and then deal with the pay queries. So
take the tax out. And all
yeah,
that.
we do the tax, everything else.
That's
as well.
incredible.
So,
yeah. It's been good for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the size of your business, but I mean, it's always about kind of mitigating risk and removing the sort of the hassle and the dealing with the queries and sort of learning the payroll software, especially if someone's on holiday. But if we can talk about IR35, so IR35 has been around, I think it's sort of 1999 it came in. And it's really about when people are claiming to be self-employed when they're an employee. So it's about, kind of disguised employment. It's been massive over many years is that, you would set yourself up a company, try and save a bit of tax by paying yourself a dividend. Now, two things happened. One is that, sort of the Treasury or HMRC, whoever's in charge of this kind of stuff, has changed it now so that there really isn't much benefit of being paid a dividend. The tax on a dividend is roughly the same as income tax. But it's what they did is they passed the liability from the individual onto the company. So let's say you are a removal business or any employer, and you've got like 50 sort of people on your books, 50 workers. It's quite tempting just to make them all self-employed, right? Because you'd go, well, then I don't have to pay employers, tax. I'll just pay them the gross.
Pension, sick pay.
But that's what IR35 is there to stop. Like, that they're actually your employees, and if they're your employees, then you got to be paying tax for them. I think there was like a 3.2 billion black hole from people using limited companies that really should have been employees. And you get like the big cases. There was, I think it was GlaxoSmithKline. I don't know if I should mention companies.
Mention them.
Are they going to watch
mention
this?
Them.
They might watch this.
Yeah.
Like, so GlaxoSmithKline, I think they got a letter that says, we know you've got 3,000 people being paid as a limited company who are actually your employees. Now, they don't need to go in and investigate one at a time. They just kind of have to say, we know, like, we're watching.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't stop it, we will then send someone in, and you'll be responsible for the employer's and all of those.
Even backdated.
Oh yeah, backdated. Yeah. So
cool.
But I mean, we all know. I mean, I know someone I think he's worked at the same bank since he left sort of high school, and he's a limited company. And you think, well, like how are you not an employee of theirs? And so the bank is not paying employers' national insurance for him.
Yeah.
And never has. I know another guy who's a project manager. I think he's been in the same job 5 years. Goes to the Christmas party. He's got his own desk. But he's a limited company. So there's. It's always like when it's one guy, it's kind of like driving at 80 miles an hour on the motorway, right? Like everybody does it. You're not really going to get pulled over. No one's going to, but at the same time, you're not meant to do it. And technically if someone's, policeman's having a bad day and sees you, then he'll have you for it. And that's kind of the same with IR35. So what the umbrella does, this is where I was kind of getting to, was that we would take all of that point of going, well, I was going to pay him self-employed, and we'll do that for you. Unfortunately, we will have to charge the employers and either. That's the, that's the difference, yeah. If they're earning more than sort of £95 a week, it's 96 now, isn't it?
Yeah, but it just makes sure that they're compliant that way, doesn't it? Yeah,
and it's de-risking. I mean, obviously there is a cost involved with that, but it's about kind of de-risking. And then the more... So what HMRC do, this is quite an interesting thing. What HMRC do, right, and they did it with IR35 and they're doing it with some other legislation, is that they don't always have the manpower to police it, right? There's no such thing as a tax inspector going around knocking on doors in central London, right? So what they do, right, is they risk up the supply chain. If like one of your clients is doing something wrong, they find a way to move it up the supply chain. So you then police the people lower down the supply chain.
Okay.
So that's what they did with IR35, right? Instead of saying, right, there's 3,000 people working in this business who have all got their own limited company, we should really kind of go to all of those 3,000 individuals and go, are you really an employee, or should you really be director of a company? And we'll run a test on those 3,000. Well, actually what we do is we say, we don't care about those 3,000 people. We care about the guy who's paying those 3,000 people. We're going to make it his job. And that's the same thing that happens along with pass liability along. So if you go, well, actually, these guys didn't pay the tax, well, whack it up the supply chain. And then the people up the supply chain will then be the ones who are responsible for the fact that those guys over there didn't pay the tax. And it means that all the industry then gets self-policing. So HMRC can survive with about 4 guys. It's 3 old women in Newcastle.
Surely it's more than that.
Well, it doesn't. It's something. Well, you try to call them. I mean,
Yeah,
but I think that's what I mean. Like, I'm sure that there are tax inspectors, but I mean, the way that they work generally is to say they force your supply chain to monitor everybody else, which is pretty smart, right? Because then you go, oh, Joel, did you pay the tax on those workers? And I go, no, I don't think so. You go, oh, well, I'm liable if you don't pay that. So, Joel, can you just prove to me that you've paid the tax on those people? So if I was thinking about, sneaking out and not paying the tax on all your workers, well, actually then HMRC might say, well, Dave, you're liable.
And how can I check that you're paying the tax on all our workers?
Yeah. So there's the traditional way is that we'll send you pay slips and we'll show you the proof. But there's some really good software coming in. There's a new company called SafeRec, and what they do is they have sort of payroll checking software. So you can log on, you can see all the people we've paid, you can select Dingo, you can look at the people we've paid.
So you're embedded into SafeRec or something?
Their online system looks at our payroll software. So it's like an API which bounces between the two.
Yeah.
So we run our payroll and it goes live then on their software. So you log in and you select your recruitment agency name and you see all the people we've paid that week, and you can look at their pay slips and you can go, well, hang on, and it'll flag up if something's not right, because they know what the take home should be. If it's 2 or 3p out, it doesn't flag, but hang on a minute, this guy's taken home 40 quid more than we thought he would. Wonder why that is. And you can look at it and go, oh, right, his tax code is unusual, or he's got some expenses that we've approved. But actually, they seem to have paid him a dividend, or one of those schemes. So that was a huge kind of part of the way that people used to get paid. Those kind of sort of tax avoidance schemes, which are all gone now. And again, it's all been legislated out. So the supply chain is now, with software, super transparent. You can see at every stage who's been paid. And I know you guys are massive on this, aren't you? You have the app and you allow the workers to log on. And, if we go back 5 years, we'd be getting calls on Fridays going, oh, why have I been paid this much?
Yeah.
But you guys have done loads of work, right, on making sure that the workers know exactly what they've been paid.
They can see their timesheets.
Your clients can see what's been paid. No one has to query anything really anymore. Right?
It's hard, It's hard to get it right.
Yeah.
It's really hard. We've spent years building this thing, and plus your support as well. But
you guys are, I'm not blowing smoke, but genuinely, you guys are, I think, like one of the industry leaders that we've seen in terms of automation. Some of we deal with some massive agencies, and it really still is like 30 kids in an office, like hand typing in timesheets and things. And, and then you call them up and you go, oh, why hasn't Bob been paid? He said he sent you a timesheet, and they go, oh, give me an hour, I've got to go through 30 handwritten timesheets, right? So that still exists, right? And they're the bigger companies doing it, but like you guys are for me like trailblazers in what you've managed to do.
We know that strain. It's so stressful doing that, and we've felt that pain. We thought so rather than investing in a heap of like sales and salespeople, we've gone back to basics and built this foundation where we can just get all these boring tasks done. So when we do get salespeople and people, just general people to come in and help run the business, they've got the best tools in the toolbox to use, and it makes their life so much easier, because we've had people leave, say, this is too complicated or that. So, thanks. It's good to hear that. Yeah. I don't know. Some of these accountants out there, I know you're not an accountancy, but like, I feel for them. They might have some of their jobs at risk.
Yeah. Well, I think the automation side of things and AI in particular is super interesting, because I think as business owners, we can look at it and go, oh, I can save some money there, or that'll be really good. But imagine if you're a salaried worker, sometimes you're looking at AI going, oh, am I next?
Yeah.
And so it's kind of where like we've got kids, what not together, but like what kind of job are they going to do? I have literally no idea.
What you got 2 kids, don't you? 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you had 2.
No, I just keep popping them out.
Yeah. Well, you've been in business. What would you encourage your, say, eldest to do?
So I think that I think there's a danger that you say, oh, be a plumber, right? Because if 60-70% of the kids in your year want to be plumbers, then boom, it's a minimum wage job, right? Plumbing's only lucrative because it's a scarcity. There's not many people who do it. I know a guy who earns like £1,000 a day doing boiler installs. Like,
That's crazy.
and he's got no qualifications other than the fact he's just a really nice guy who turns up on time, right? And that's basically, he's
in the top 10% by doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but he's amazing, right? But he's not. It's him and like 2 other guys, and
That's mad.
It's fortune. I actually think that. Sorry, off topic, but I think that I know a couple of people in the police where I live, just kind of outside of London. There's quite a lot of Met police live there, and those guys have the best stories.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to encourage your kid to do that.
I don't know, like they have a lot of fun, man.
Do they?
Yeah, like I know one guy's like a dog handler, and he comes back and you say, what did you do at work last night? He goes, it'd be amazing. We chased this guy, and he got over the fence. I let the dog go, and he grabbed him back down again.
Really?
And then we ran down the river, and the dog's running through the water. And I'm like, stop or release the dog. And like he's got these amazing stories about like getting in fights with people and using his dog to rip holes in their legs and things. And like other guys, like they just kind of like they just go out at night and they just look for criminals.
Would you really want your kid doing that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
My son, yeah. I think he'd be. I think he needs to be he's quite active, he'd be out and about. But yeah, I mean, I don't think I could ever. I mean, I think running a business is brilliant, right? And we know that like how much goes into that, and how much pride you take in it, and how much you love talking about it, and it does kind of take over. And I think running a business, even if it's a small business, which I think a lot of businesses are going to be small business with automation, because why would you need 15, 20 employees anymore? We used to go back to 2010. We had 70 people in the office doing what now would need 70 is the most we had. Yeah, but like we had like a marketing department of like 8 people who just did like graphics and stuff, like on Photoshop all day, making adverts for magazines and online web adverts. We had like a sales team of 15 who were like up and down the country.
It'd be a dream to have that bigger sales.
Yeah, but the difference is that we were getting faxes off fax machines, and typing them into an MS-DOS database, and then having to like go to a bank terminal and like fax things back to banks and things. So like that's why it took so long. And now you can do all of that by AI reads your email, raises an invoice, processes the payment, it reads the bank, reconciles it automatically, Xero does all your accounts. So I think for a business owner, I think the future's exciting because you can probably start something really easy. I don't know if you've done it. You must have done it, the AI like app builder stuff like Replit, things like that, where you talk to it like it's a real developer and it builds you little apps and things.
We'll try that. We haven't found that as successful.
Yeah, I think it's good for prototyping.
Yeah. We use a thing called Airtable.
I don't know that.
Yeah, so it's kind of like no code software, but you still can code on top of it, which we do a fair bit of, and to really customize it.
Otherwise, Daniel's just going to be like, "What am I doing here anymore?" Right?
Yeah, well, Daniel's the one building most of it, but like we've gone through so many CRMs, and nothing has caused us more stress because they build it and they think that they know exactly what you want, but they don't. It's always like 80% right or 70%,
it is,
and that extra 30% can really kill you.
So for a prototyping point of view, it's really nice because I know someone who's got a really good idea for an app. So he's built, like you said, about 80% of it in like Replit, which so he can send you the link, you can test it, you can see what it does. Like some things that this function doesn't work yet, but you can kind of see what it does. And then as an investor, you can go, I get how that works. I'll chuck you some money for that. And so he can go around, get the investment because you've got literally it's not a mood
too
board.
Bad. Yeah.
It's you can do that, and then you go to a proper company and go, all right, here's $100,000 and build it properly.
Have you used that? Do you use that?
Well, I've used it for non-work stuff.
Yeah,
I've used it for doing like fun with football statistics and things, and like just like you're making little graphs and pie charts and things.
You're a football coach for your son's team, aren't you?
Yeah. And I manage my daughter's team and I coach my son's team as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're doing that a few years ago. You told me, but yeah.
But I'm really into kind of data and statistics and as well. So we film everything and then we extract. So the camera that we use pulls a lot of data off, and I do quite a bit manually. But then I feed it all into the kind of the AI stuff, and you get like little graphs about like you can see which players would make the best number 10. So this player has dribbles and passes and
this is for juniors.
Yeah,
that's awesome. They struck gold having user manager.
But it's more like proof of concept. It's more like, can I build something? That's like, I know it doesn't have any value really to anyone other than me, but it's about saying I'm going to have to learn how to use this stuff right for work. I'm going to learn how to live in a world where I need to code an app quickly, or I need to like be able to make a little solution for the business. So it is all ultimately just there because we want to learn it for what we do and how the business is.
There's like a side hustle thing you got going, or is it purely hobby? Or
It's just hobby. Yeah. It's just learning. Yeah. It's just about
surely
trying
the
to keep up.
kids are interested in seeing their stats through this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Some are, yeah. And it's especially when you say like, I say that you got the most tackles today, but yes, thought I did.
You have a graph and they look at the leaderboard. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so that's I reckon
that would take off all juniors.
You could probably. I think the problem is I'd need to find a way to automate it. Right, it takes quite a long time just to do one team. It'd take you a couple of hours to do like a whole game and get all of the graphic stuff. But if you could automate it,
I could just see that being because people play their fantasy football and all that kind of stuff, you're sort of almost doing that live. Like you're almost doing that in real life with
and then you can give the kids their stat cards and things. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
Maybe we'll do it one day.
But why not?
It needs more AI to actually read the game better. I think that's the difference.
Yeah. How much of your time is taken up with coaching and managing?
It's all right. It's fine. It's just mostly evenings. Yeah. Just do a little bit.
What do you prefer, the coaching or the managing?
I like the coaching, and the game day's great. I mean, it's all the same, really. Like, so you put together your training plan, like for Friday night on a Thursday. You kind of work out what you're doing for your hour. It goes well. Sometimes it goes badly, and then you try and take that into the game. And then sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. As long as everyone has fun, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
It's So we were talking to another coach the other day, and it was about. He's like, why do we do this? Why do we do this to ourselves? I said, I'll tell you why we do this, right? Because how often do you actually get to test yourself, right, anymore? Right? Like, they're getting too philosophical, right? But like, it's like cavemen. You go out and you hunt something, right? And you go, I'm going to go take down that saber-toothed tiger. And as we don't really get to do much anymore. So if actually once a week I get to go head to head against that guy over there who's coaching those kids and I'm coaching those kids.
It's awesome.
Then I want to be the best. Yeah, I want to use the data and I'm going to use the camera and I'm going to do my research and I'm going to go on a coaching course and I'm going to beat him.
I love that.
And that's kind of, it's nice to say you're there for the kids, but I'm really just there because I'm quite competitive and I like winning. And so you kind of like, you have that, it's how you test yourself, right? That's how you, in a modern world, people, you find ways you can do it. And it might be that some people go to the gym and try and beat their personal bests, or some people run marathons. And I think that if we don't,
life feels it's getting a bit too easy. It could be too easy.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I heard my neighbour, because sometimes you live quite close, you can hear them through the door and through the windows.
Sure, right, okay. You're not no glass on the wall. No.
It's just like he ordered this coffee from Deliveroo, or Uber Eats or something, and this poor delivery guy, he rang the doorbell and said, "I've got an order." And he just said, just put it, he was sitting in the front room, you could tell. And he just said, just put it through, I could hear through the ring thing. So just put it at the front door. Like he's ordered a coffee. If this guy has driven here on a motorbike, left the front door, and then that's it. He didn't have the decency to get up and say, "Oh, thank you."
I can't even believe
how easy. When you say trying to hunt down a saber-toothed tiger,
I can't even believe you would order a coffee. I can understand ordering a meal for everybody.
No, I agree.
Just one coffee is mad. I mean, it costs you $3-4 to have it delivered.
Or a drink. It was just one drink.
Sure,
it was a drink or a coffee. It was like a cold drink
That's crazy.
A coffee. But just like how easy have we got it? And it's scary. And he's a young guy. So like how it's getting too easy for people.
Yeah.
And the automation, it's great. But even like when you told me before, like how you used to go get the faxes and take it to the bank and all that. So I feel a bit sad for those people because those people would have loved it. They would have had a conversation with the bank teller.
Yeah, it's true.
Don't get me wrong. I love automation.
Yeah.
I love it 100%. But I am also saddened by it a little bit, and we are as people becoming a little bit.
I suppose you lose that kind of office culture, don't you? And I suppose again, if you've got the removal businesses, I guess there was probably a bunch of guys who you saw every day, and I imagine there was sort of great banter, and there was all the people who worked in the office who you'd see them every morning, and I suppose those people in the office, if they start to go, then and then you start to get more into that kind of 0 hours where you've got like different guys and things. I guess we probably will lose that community a little bit, won't we, of our offices? I mean, I met my wife from being at work.
Did you?
She was one of the 70 people in the office.
Wow.
And like if
it would have been so many stats.
How do you work? How do you meet a partner if you work from home? Like, I suppose on an app, but do you know what I mean? Like those kind of natural ways of getting to know each other are probably going to go.
I mean, even just like Thursday, Friday night drinks with your colleagues, they were fun. back in the day. We don't do that as much now, but I used to work in organisations that had hundreds of people, and it'd be a team. Our team would go out for Friday night drinks, and it was incredible, incredible buzz.
Yeah, we did it every Friday. As soon as work finished, it was like the end of the Flintstones. Like the alarm would go at 5 o'clock, and we would sprint out over to the bar over the road and spend everything we'd earned that week in the bar on the Friday night. And
now, like around here, around Shoreditch, like you go on a Friday night, there's nothing. It's dead because people work from home on Fridays and Mondays. Tend to. So they have it on Thursdays, but like Friday nights, they used to be.
So you're saying what we actually need to do is get rid of all automation, go back to hiring like 50 people per company.
I don't know. As I was saying to you earlier, like the reason we're doing this is because we've had so many wonderful people like you and all our clients like over the years that we want to spend more time in person physically with people. Yeah,
that is really nice.
Because of the automation.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, I'm here now doing a work day because like my emails get answered and my work is technically partly automated in terms of what we do and how we do the invoices now, and actually what would probably take me all day I can now do in an hour. So you're right, it's a good point. I mean,
as long as you try and become more personal, and people say that, I want to become more, well, we sort of want to practice what we preach as well. So.
No, you're right. Yeah, I mean, as long as if you're actually getting out and about and going and meeting clients and taking people out, then actually, you're right. There's a positive from there, isn't there?
Can be, nice, but just something. But how long have you been in this sector for anyway? Like an umbrella payroll sector?
Oh, since 2002.
Far out.
Yeah, so I'm a veteran. It was my first proper job where I thought, okay, I actually have a sensible job now. It was the first job where I actually got properly paid. Really.
Yeah.
I'd done loads of jobs, loads of warehouse work and bits and bobs and all sorts of various things. But this was the first office job where I thought, okay, like there's some people in this office who make really good money.
Yeah,
like I'll stay, and then just kind of work my way up from there. So 2002. But I mean, like those days were crazy. I think we forget like how much money everybody used to have. Right? I don't mean like from like a 1980s kind of Wall Street thing. I mean just like that. People would pay loads of money, like the recruitment agencies were charging like 25% on top of the margins, right? People were being paid really well. Like we were doing accountants, and the accountants were all like £50 an hour, and the agencies were getting like £75 an hour, and we were making 25 quid here, and we were making another 10 quid there, and we were charging them another 5 quid for the same day transfer. Like we went to like Paris for our Christmas party, like with 70 of us, like took 70 first class Eurostar.
So expensive.
But agencies were like flying to Vegas every other weekend. Like there was everybody just had loads of money. Right, and I think that's kind of changed now, right? And people things feel tighter. No one's kind of really splashing out anymore, and I feel that those kind of early kind of hedonistic days of everybody was loaded. Like we had people who didn't do anything. You'd go right, okay, so
and this is without all the automation.
Yeah. Okay,
this
Sandra's left, so we used to replace her, and you go, she doesn't do anything. But we might as well. Yeah. And you'd go call an agency and give them $4,000 to send you a CV.
Imagine those days with the automations. Can you imagine it?
Yeah.
You would trim your whole staff down by 75%.
But then do those clients go?
Yeah, maybe that's
I'm not paying. Why am I paying you?
Or maybe they were throwing money because they got an amazing service because so many people. I don't know.
Yeah, but they go, well, I don't want you to. Don't charge my workers sort of 30 quid a week. Can you just charge them 5 quid a week?
They know you're doing so.
Because I know that you're not actually employing anybody anymore, right? So that race to the bottom is the other side of it, isn't it? It's actually suddenly you say, oh, Joel, I know you're automating all our invoices now. Can you only charge my workers like half of what you did last week?
Have you had that from any of your clients?
No, we do in a way, right? So some agencies we go to, they say, yeah, we'll use you, but we only want our workers to be paid this. And you go,
When you pay, say, being charged, you mean?
Yeah, so we only want to charge this. Yeah,
what the worker gets charged. It comes off their pay. Yeah,
exactly. So it's and sometimes it's really low. And we had like one agency who only wanted us to charge £8 a week, which is less than half of what we normally do, and they wanted 45-day payment terms. Right, so they were said, oh, we'll send you like a couple of hundred people though, and you go, hang on a minute, I'm going to be out of pocket $800,000, right? Yeah. Right, to earn £8. Hang on a minute, if I put $800,000 in a bank,
disgusting. I hope you told them.
I'm like, I will make more money on bank interest on that $800,000 than I would by payrolling your people. And they're like, no one's ever said no to us before. We're a huge agency. I'm like, well, we're saying no. Like, this is the worst deal ever.
That's why companies can go bust, because you're not just a payroll company. Suddenly you become become a cash loaning service.
Yeah.
We used to have bad payment terms. Some of our people,
Umbrellas
some
go
clients,
out of business often because they've done that, and then the
Yeah.
agencies have defaulted. So yeah,
like that's what back in the early days, we'd have some companies when we were really keen to onboard clients. So it's 30-day payment terms, but we pay our workers weekly. And then someone said to me, they were giving me sound advice. You're actually a cash loaning service to them. And then when I found out these companies were getting paid in advance before the move,
really,
I just cracked the shits.
I mean, I wouldn't even. What's even the point?
How could you do that? How could you've already been paid in full? Our worker's done his work, but you want to pay us 30 days later. And the worst part about that is that they still wouldn't pay it 30 days. There'd be another 10, 15 days, and be chasing them. And the payroll person's off on leave. We'll get it. No, never again.
It's
ever.
And we find as well, like the agencies who are like, we'll give you a load of workers, but can you only charge them this? By the way, can you do this? You do this. Hang on a minute, like, surely you want us to be financially secure in this? Like, if we start running everybody at nothing, then I'm going to have to let staff go, and we're going to be financially in trouble if all of my people suddenly want to pay a quarter of the fees. Like, you should be interested in me making as much money as possible, so I'm financially secure.
Yeah.
Like, and if you allow us to charge more, then you'll get a better service, because guess what? I'll hire more people, right? We'll have more phone lines available. We'll reply to your emails quicker. We'll send you invoices faster. We'll pay people faster, because it's not a race to the bottom then. If you want everyone to do everyone for £1 a week, fine, but I'm not having any customer service. You can log a ticket and I'll reply in 6 months. But that's the reality, isn't it? Is that the race to the bottom is real. And I think that if we can go back to not go back to those kind of early 2000s, but back then service was great and everything worked well because everybody was paying like a good chunk of money. And I think that it was quite a nice, it's almost communism, wasn't it? Everyone had loads of money because it was evenly distributed. And now, late stage capitalism is just a few people have got all the money. It's like the end of monopoly now, right?
Well, they're talking about this universal basic income. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think that's a genuine thing?
I mean, I think they trialled it and I think it worked. It's weird though.
When did they trial it? When did they trial it?
I think they tried it in Finland or something, and it was really popular. I don't know, but
I just can't see how it would work.
The problem is, I think that it goes back to what I was saying about testing yourself, right? Like a life of leisure would be horrible, right? Imagine not having challenges to deal with every day. Imagine not going, oh, what shit have I got to sort out today? Now you might go, oh, I've got shit to sort out today, but really, like if you had nothing to do, you had no shit to sort out, you'd be like, oh, I'm bored now. Right, it's nice to have challenges. It's nice to be tested.
I know what you mean.
And I think that if you just had a life where you go, I get $2,000 a month, and I just walk the dog, right? I'm going mad doing that, right? It would be horrible.
Scary, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm not against.
People just won't have any purpose.
Yeah, I think I grew up with a guy who really was the world's laziest man, completely unemployable in every sense. You give him a job, he wouldn't go. It was as simple as that. He just wouldn't turn up, right? And so he was
Don't send him to us.
No, yeah. So he would claim benefits, right? And a lot of people will get annoyed going, he's literally never worked, and he's getting these £100 benefits. I'm like, if you don't give him that £100 a week, right, he will come and steal your television, right? Because he doesn't give a crap. And so just give him £100 a week and remove him from society, and he can sit over there and it'll be fine. And that's the kind of payoff, because if you don't pay him, he's not about to go pull himself up by his bootstraps and get a job.
But it was what you said then, if you don't pay him that £100, he'll go try and steal your TV. But what happens if he can't steal a TV? It just kind of indicates that he will do something to get money.
Yeah, he will. But what I meant more than the fact that he had jobs, but he just stopped going, or he'd arrive at 11 o'clock in the afternoon and they'd fire him, and he was inappropriate to customers. He was just unemployable in every sense. So,
what's he do now?
No idea. I've not seen him in years. But I imagine it's probably very much the same.
Yeah.
But society kind of almost you have to accept that some people are just going to be over there doing that, and some people are going to be business owners, and we're going to be here doing that, and there's some people in the middle are happy.
What about how old's your son, if you don't mind me asking? Your oldest one?
He's 11.
11.
So my daughter's 13.
Okay.
And then my son's 11. And then my youngest daughter's 7.
Yeah, because I was going to say about young men these days, it's all and how 16 to 18, or more so 18 to 30-year-olds. It just sort of it seems to be there's more and more talk about them lacking purpose and stuff.
Yeah, I imagine.
And, what do you think of that? We talk about this a lot with people.
Yeah.
And we deal all our workforces mostly male, or we want that to change, obviously, all the time. We're always looking at ways
Yeah, of course.
to diversify in that respect, but it is usually 18 to 30. And yeah, a lot of them just, I don't know, they just...
I think I think that the job world has changed as we're talking about, and I think the idea that as I did, you would just apply for a job and then you go to another one, and when I started out, like a house price was price of a house was 4 times my salary or whatever, and you could, if you didn't like a job, you'd walk into the next one, and it was easy to get jobs, and there was loads of them, and everyone had loads of money, and I think that like without sounding to like an old sort of boomer, but we did have it really easy when you see what the kids are dealing with now, and people kind of coming out of university with huge amounts of debt and unable to get jobs because there's no graduate jobs. So I guess that has an effect. Like we used to be that jobs were easy to come by. You'd be with a gang, like there'd be 30 of you in an office, and you'd have a great time, and you'd all go out together, as we said. And I thought that probably did give us purpose. And
what do you think is some of the answers to this major problem? And that's a big thing.
That's a
like, for example, your
question.
son,
Yeah.
like when he's sort of like 20 and he's just say he's sitting in your sofa at home, he doesn't have a job. What were the things would you advise?
Yeah, well,
I'm not saying he would do that.
Okay, so he was quite introverted until he got into football, and football has been amazing for him. And for 2 reasons. One is because he's immediately got a gang. Right.
Yeah.
And I think
tribe.
Yeah, exactly. So immediately, here's your teammates, right? And
protection.
You're all together. So like that kind of tribe, that gang, I think is really important. And you may have had that in an office job, or you may have had that somewhere else. But suddenly, here's 10 lads who are all wearing the same colour shirt, and you're all going.
Everyone's equal.
Together. Yeah. And then the other thing that's really benefited him, without being like sort of braggy about it, he's really good, right? So he's gone from like being like drifting through life to going, oh, I found something I'm really good at. And
cool.
Being really good at something comes with social status, social esteem. And so like the boys in his class, like now, like, oh yeah, he's one of the best players, or like he's really good at football. So, it elevates him to a point. Like he's on the school team. He's one of the first players on the team sheet for the school team. So that comes with a status. And that could come from anything. So you could have that because you were the best guitar player or the best drummer in school. You could be because you're the best at maths, or you're the best taekwondo fighter. I think that, but just finding your thing that you're good at, to be able to say, I'm good at this, I think is massive. And I think that that's really important. I think
that you've answered that perfectly. I think it's fair to say that you've been a good role model dad to actually encourage him. I mean, did he actively seek out that team, or did you just push him out the door a little bit?
So I
would assume it was you pushing him a little bit.
I pushed him early, and he wasn't ready. So I took him when he was like 6 or 7 because his older sister was already playing.
Not many people have a dad or a parent that would take them when they're 6 or 7.
There's lots of pushy football dads, but
maybe in your circle, but generally,
yeah, but he wasn't really ready. Like he was a bit shy, and then he did find it himself. So through his friends at school, they just started playing in the playground, and like he kind of was quite good at it. And so we took him to some training camps, and he did like a summer camp, and he did that, and then we did a trial for a team. And he didn't get in, so he did like another year of training, and then he finally got in a team. And so like he worked for it, which was quite nice. And I think that there was a sense of reward for that, because he was told, you aren't good enough yet, but go away and work. And he did. I mean, I'm not like, again, I don't want to be like, oh, my son's amazing. But you see him in the garden, and he'd be over one of those rebound nets, and he'd do like 100, practice 100 throw-ins, then he'd practice 100 overhead kicks. And he just went out and he tried, and he would go, oh, can we go to the park and play? And we'd go up to the park, and, I'd set the cones up, and we'd kind of running through drills and things. And even now, like his drive to be good is fantastic. So we filmed the games. So you can select his shirt number and watch his clips back.
Really?
So he'll go after the, oh, Dad, can we watch my bits back? And I'll say, I think you should have done this there. And he'll go, oh no, I was doing that. I couldn't have got the tackle in there because he was over there. But we'll watch everything back together. And I'll say, that was really good. And then I'll clip little bits, and I'll say, what you did there was brilliant. Watch this back. And he went, oh yeah, that's what Harry Maguire did that time. Do you remember you sent me that video? Because I'll send him videos.
Harry Maguire.
Well, I send him this video of when Harry Maguire played for Leicester, all these like little bits where he's dribbling out of defence. And I said, right, watch this. And he'll watch the videos I send him. And then I speak to some of the other parents, and they're like, oh my God, my kid would never watch their clips back. Like they would never want to watch their own performances because they'd be like embarrassed, or they want to watch themselves on video. And so luckily he's quite driven in that way, and the fact that he's quite good at reviewing his own performances and things. But no, I think being good at something is really important. I think that's how
being out of the house at least.
Yeah, but I think just having a purpose. Like when I was younger, I wasn't a footballer, but played guitar in a band, and
did you?
I remember.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah, but I remember like being really young, and I had got a mate of mine's a couple of years older, and he got a guitar for Christmas. He let me have a go on it, and within about half an hour, I could play Guns N' Roses. I'm like, this is phenomenal. Like another hour later, I could play Smells Like Teen Spirit. So like the next day at school, you go in and you go, sir, can I have a go on that guitar? Well, no one's ever played that guitar before, but you can have a go on it. Suddenly you play Smells Like Teen Spirit in front of the whole class. You're a superstar, right? And you go, this is amazing. And then I learned how to play the Top Gun theme tune. And like this girl like asked me out because I could play Top Gun on the guitar.
Mad.
So you go, all right, I'm going to get good at this, right? So I think finding the thing that you're good at, right? And it doesn't matter what that is. Just find something and try and be the best at it. I think that would be, I don't know. I think that's the way that you get to, I don't know, you find your purpose in life, I guess is what your question was, wasn't it?
Yeah. You're in a band with the other directors from Granite, like Chris and Jovan.
No, not anymore. Jovan's back in New Zealand.
But you were.
I was in a band, yeah.
Jovan's a really good bloke.
Yeah.
And Chris is as well. Yeah. It's funny, Chris was the guy that told me about Zapier.
Yes.
This is 2019, early 2019. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell is this? And he came into our office at the time and he showed us. I'm like, wow. And he really got us going with the automation.
Yeah, he blew me away when he first started putting those things
He's
together.
very clever with that. But Jovan, he's just, I mean, all as I said to you, all of you guys are amazing. But Jovan, what a great guy. Like, he's such a nice guy.
He's in New Zealand. He went back to New Zealand. He started a business with an English guy who was the guitarist in band.
Really?
And they've started a fintech bank.
Yeah, I've heard for kids, isn't it?
It was for kids originally, right? And I may get this bit wrong, but I thought this was really funny. So first of all, it was free, right? It was a kids bank, right, in New Zealand, and it was entirely free.
It's a kid, like a savings account kind of thing.
The thing here is called Go Henry, right? So you get like your credit card, and your parents get an app, and then you can, if you do your chores, it will say,
£2 for putting the laundry away.
Doing laundry away. So you can add £2 to their account and you approve their spending and things. And it gets them good at money and they get them used to spending. So they kind of, not copied that, but took that idea to New Zealand. And then they started charging for it. And I think they got like quite a load of, they got 80, 90,000 users, whatever.
That's
and then
incredible.
They started charging for it and the numbers dropped right down again. And then they realized that to actually make a profit, they needed more children than actually lived in New Zealand to use it.
Oh, right. So no matter what happens.
Yeah. So they've about turned, and they now it's now kind of like a Revolut or a Monzo, and so which didn't really exist in New Zealand. It's a bit of a kind of a brand new thing where it's like a fintech bank. It's just an app.
And he's a great.
It's valued at millions. It's valued at millions. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just that guy. You meet him and. Such a nice guy, but you just...
He's not... Jovan isn't the brains behind anything, right? So Jamie, the other guy who runs it, is the brains. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen South Park with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, where like Matt Damon does all the writing and Ben Affleck just mucks around and just kind of like, smokes. And so that's basically Jovan, right? He's like, he's tall and he's chatty, so he's very good at going and getting all the business and getting all the investors on board, but all the work is done by Jamie.
Yeah, but you sort of need both, I think.
You do,
you need and more, but... It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I hope, yeah.
No, I mean it's generally they've raised loads of money and it is valued at millions. Genuinely.
Oh, good on them.
Yeah.
What's Chris doing these days?
So he does only little bits for Granite now, but he does. He's a director of cybersecurity for something. He does like product launches. I don't know what he does. Like it's something technical, but it all involves learning really complicated bits of software and getting everything to work together and digital security and things like that as well.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
But it's been brilliant for us because like loads of our stuff is automated. Like in the olden days, what we used to have to do. So if someone signs up now, I fill it in an online form on our website and it generates a welcome email to them. It sends them a take-home pay quote. It sends them a contract. It sends a link to the ID checking system that we use, the Credus system where they check their ID and their proof of right to work in the UK. That all happens in the background and no one has to do anything.
That's what's helped us. All our guys right to work checked that you guys do, for us, which is it's
Yeah, the right to work check is massive because the fines and stuff if you get it wrong now are ridiculous. So we use a company called Credus, but it's all automated. It all happens automatically.
So what's next for Granite?
Well, international is the thing that needs fixing. Is the problem?
There's no such thing as Or actually, no. There is these employers of record. Say in South Africa, for example, or in Australia. I don't think there's umbrella companies in Australia.
The international market, right, is just one of these things which is waiting for somebody to fix. So we got contacted by a company who had they were placing the guy is an Italian guy but runs a UK recruitment agency. Got some kind of contractors, play 20 workers in Italy, and said, "Can you payroll them?" And we're like, "Well, we'll certainly look into it." My God, is it complicated?
Yeah, it's really.
Right? If you want to,
you basically need a local entity set up in that place.
Yes, so if you want a company to do it for you, it's £700 per worker per month.
It's stupid. Right? We want to expand to America.
But then you start going, well, why is it £700 a month? And then you look into it and you go, oh, that's why it's £700 a month.
In a very short, why is it?
Yeah,
why you tell me in a nutshell?
Because every country is different. So you think of the European Union, right? No two countries are even close to being the same.
Yeah.
If you want to do something in Belgium, it's not the same as doing it in Italy. And in Italy, so you need to know all of the local laws and all of the deductions. So in Italy, for example, there's about 18 different things that come off your wages, like job security bonuses and various equivalents of national insurance. Some you can hold back, some you can pay. Like there's no way you can learn that. There's no way you can learn that and deal with the queries. Like if an Italian worker emails us in or calls in, like how am I dealing with that query? It's baffling. So there is, again, AI and apps is the answer, but there will be a way to crack it. But it's the thing is, if you went really hard on just setting up an entity in Italy, right, because you had, right, I know I'm going to get 1,000 Italian workers, then you would do it. You would hire locals, you would set an office up because you have to do a bond. You have to put like a €10,000 bond in if you don't do this. And like technically freelancers aren't really allowed in Italy. You have to have some kind of permanent work employment, right? And that's just Italy, right? There's how many countries in Europe? There's 30, right? And they all have different laws. America is complicated. We've done some work on America.
Do you have any advice for us to try and just in one state of America?
Well, I think one state is the way to go.
That would be we just treat it like its own country.
So you can set up in Delaware, which is where everyone seems to register their business because there's zero corporation tax in Delaware.
Is there really?
But then you would still need to then, let's say Texas, for example, because that's where all the big boom is at the minute. So let's say you were setting up in Texas, you would want to have some kind of local office in Texas. You would need to know about state taxes, federal taxes, and all of the other kind of job security. Again, there's 10 different things that come off. So you can either pay someone to do that for you, which is a fortune, or you can try and run it yourself. So there is payroll software, and the language barrier is what really helps with America over Italy, because obviously all the payroll software is in Italian. So
what's the payroll software? Do you know?
I can send it to you. I don't know off the top of my head, but we did find one that would do it
in Delaware,
in Texas.
In Texas,
yeah. So you register in Delaware, but you would run the payroll from Texas, and then each time you take on someone else from a different state, you then need to kind of expand your operations because each state has its own laws, its own employment laws, like in terms of sick days and time off.
It's crazy.
It has its own social security, it has its own tax rates. So it's, again, you're kind of dealing with 50 countries. The benefit is they all speak English, but you're kind of dealing with 50 countries, which is a real problem. And then the big issue with America, of course, is how litigious it is. So if you get your insurance wrong, so like if you take on a worker and like forget even getting injured, just say like you didn't describe the job properly. Boom, I want $1 million. You told me I was going to be working, doing removals in a mansion.
You just have to have like watertight terms.
Exactly, yeah. But,
and just have the job
description. But guess how much those watertight terms are going to cost you?
Yeah.
You're going to $8,000 a contract. And not only that, do you know what the average healthcare contribution cost of an employee in America a year is from the employer? $20,000. So if you take on an employee, you should expect to pay $20,000 a year.
Surely not for like part-timers and casuals.
Probably not part-timers and casuals, no. But that is because you might not actually have to offer them a scheme. But if you were taking on, but if we were looking at was doing like high-level interims.
Yeah.
So, like finance directors, people on like $1,000 a day, like they are not leaving their permanent job to go and take on a temp role if they don't have health insurance. Yeah. So you've got to find a way to bill that 20,000 health insurance contribution in as well as part of a wider scheme. So, I mean, it's all possible, right? And your tech side and automation will help massively. But it's big for us. I mean, Karen, one of the guys who works at Granite, he's been doing some work with someone about Saudi Arabia. Obviously, no tax in Saudi Arabia, but there's lots of opportunities out there in environmental sciences and things, which is he's been looking at. But so there's loads of international opportunities, and I think that is where we're more likely to go to next.
Good luck.
And try and crack that one way or another. Because the first person who gets it will just write your own.
Yeah.
Write your own, charge whatever you like. I mean, you'll clean up the first person who gets it right.
Yeah.
Huge opportunity for someone.
I'm sure you'll get there. Thanks for coming today, and thanks for all your support over the last 6 years.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
it's been really fun, and we talked about so much stuff that wasn't about even payroll.
Yeah.
Which was nice because I can't talk about payroll all day. So
no, good stuff.
Yeah, really nice to be here. Thank you very much.